जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रज जनरंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रज जनरंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रज जनरंजना जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll need this for the lecture. Do we have another small table? Yeah. Sounds good. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us today. It's going to be a little challenging here from a technology perspective, a logistics perspective. I'm going to be alternating between this and this. I'll need both. And of course, my glasses will keep falling down, so you'll notice that as well. So we have an interesting topic today. It's a follow-up from what we've been hearing over the last several weeks in terms of Lord Chaitanya's advent of Lord Chaitanya and his infinite compassion. So we've spoken about the various associates, his eternal associates, his very close disciples over the weeks. So we'll be continuing down that theme. And today we'll be doing a combination of a bhajan and, discussing some of the topics around the compassion of Lord Chaitanya. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Gnananjana Shalakya Chakshurulminitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuveva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we all have ups and downs in our life. Some very high, some very low. And it happens on a daily basis, sometimes on a regular basis, sometimes when we don't want it, sometimes when we don't expect it. It comes from all different directions, hitting us in the face, hitting us in different places where we're most vulnerable. And oddly, we tend to, pull those swords out, those imaginary ones, and then we go about our way, waving it in the air as though we're going to conquer the world. It starts out like that. Sometimes it works, and most times it doesn't. And the harder we try, sometimes it just gets worse and worse and worse. And that's how life treats us, because, after all, we're just minute in the whole grand scheme of things. We're so insignificant, but we think we are the conquerors of the world, right? The chest goes out, the biceps come out, the swords come out, and then we're running around, trying to defeat and conquer all of these various issues, problems, challenges that come our way. Unfortunately, some of these things get so overwhelming after a certain point, almost like, sometimes we get hit by these tsunamis. Have you ever been in that situation where some of these challenges become so challenging that they hit you so badly, you don't know what hit you? Someone has to turn the lights on for you, right? And that's just on the material plane. I see many practicing devotees here. So even on a spiritual basis, right, those that are spiritual practitioners, even we face a lot of challenges. Trying to do our rounds, it becomes mechanical after a while. Sometimes not after a while, but sometimes it becomes dry because complacency hits in. Responsibilities come in, you have only so much time. You're running, trying to do this, trying to do that. But at the same time, you're telling yourself, no, this is important. I have to get this done. When that mindset comes in that I have to get this done, it becomes a chore. It becomes mechanical. It's not spontaneous anymore. It's not something that you want to do, right? It's more like I have to do. I have 16 rounds. Oh, I have 12 more rounds to finish. Oh, I have 8 more rounds to finish. And it becomes difficult for us when we get into that kind of a mindset. And over the last few days, there's been some discussion around, how do we, maintain that intensity? Because that intensity of practicing on the spiritual realm, on the spiritual platform, is so important, because the better we get at it, the closer we get to Krishna. And how is that? Because the better we get at it, there is more taste. And that taste is something that doesn't happen artificially. It cannot be superficially imposed. Just because we're chanting 16 rounds, it doesn't automatically, the lights don't come on and you have a glow or a halo floating around your head. That doesn't happen, unfortunately. In the movies, maybe, yeah. Within that 3-hour time frame, everything and anything can happen, right? From all the extremes. But when it comes to actual spiritual practice, then that we tend to get into these situations. And we forget, even then, that there is whether it's a material problem or a spiritual challenge. We have that resource that we can always take the shelter of. Can anyone tell me what that is or who that is? Krishna. We forget that Krishna is there. And Krishna says, even in the Bhagavad Gita, he says in chapter 9, text 22, right? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupashate tesham nityabhikyanam yogakshemam vaham. So he's there. He says, for those who are devoted to me, who are meditating upon my transcendental self, to them I preserve what they have and carry what they lack. So Krishna is there, but we forget, and we get into this doership mentality that says, hey, this is the American dream. This is what success is all about. This is what I went to school for. This is what I accomplished, all of this. So I'm going to fight it by myself. Unfortunately, that works only so far. After a certain while, that quickly becomes overwhelming, that becomes frustration, and then soon we get into a state of despair. What we need to remember, though, is that Krishna is there. That shelter is always there. The problem is we never remember to, turn towards Krishna and say, Krishna, please help. Vrajavasis never had that issue. No matter what it was, what the challenge was, the moment they sensed danger, they would say, Krishna. They would raise their hands and they would say, Krishna. And Krishna was there. So Krishna is always there, but we are the ones that, tend to forget. In fact, one of the instances that we hear from the Mahabharata also is, after all the discussions happened and the war was about to begin, Duryodhana and Arjuna both came to Krishna for the same reason at the same time, roughly the same time. Krishna was, resting. And Arjuna was standing by the side of Krishna. And Duryodhana was standing, it was the other way around. Arjuna was standing by the feet of Krishna, and Duryodhana was standing by the side of Krishna because he wanted to be closer to Krishna so that he could get his request in faster than Arjuna could. And when Krishna opened his eyes, what is he going to see, right? First, when you open your eyes and he's facing up, he's going to see directly in front of him, and it turned out to be Arjuna. So he asked Arjuna, what is it that you want? And Arjuna said, I want you. I want you to be on my side. There's a long conversation, but I'm just paraphrasing here. And what did Duryodhana want? He wanted Krishna's army. His mental calculation was, if I have Krishna's army, the Pandavas are already outnumbered. As it is, the Kauravas are huge. In terms of the Akshaunis, in terms of the armies that Duryodhana had, Pandavas are already on the smaller side. And then to add to that, you have Krishna's army also. That just multiplies even more, right? So Duryodhana was like really, really happy he could get his request. Look at this foolish Arjuna, he's only asking for Krishna. I'm getting the whole army. What else do I need, right? So that was his mental calculation. But Arjuna was just straight from the heart. Krishna was close to him. He asked for Krishna. He said, Krishna, be on my side. We know what happened. So I'm not going to go through the Mahabharata. Don't worry. I'm not going to keep you here for 14 days. But the point is that Arjuna took the right shelter. The intentions were, Duryodhana and Arjuna came there to get Krishna's help. But Duryodhana came with a very material intention or intent. He was trying to calculate in a way that he could get the better of Arjuna and get the better of the Pandavas. And Krishna, in his infinite compassion, he always gives his protection to his devotees. Name bhakta praneshati. So he says, my devotees will never be vanquished, or can never be vanquished. So in this Kali Yuga, Krishna descended as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, And we've been hearing about who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, and what was his mood, right? It was a combination of both Krishna and Radharani, Srimati Radharani. And his mood was all about being able to experience the love and the dedication of his devotee. And his dearest devotee is Srimati Radharani, right? So he wanted to experience that love for himself as to what does it mean to be a devotee. So for us, the takeaway is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here for a very specific reason, and that was for us to be able to understand what it means to be a devotee of the Lord. So we hear about, we've been talking about all of the various, eternal associates who came along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for his pastime, also some of his close associates, and one such one was Lochan Das. So we'll talk a little bit about Lochan Das and who he was. So keep this picture in mind, because 2 slides later, we will be referring to this, or maybe in the next slide. So Lochan Das was born in 1523 in Kograma, and he was born in a family of Vaidyas, doctors, right? So they were in the area of the field of medicine. That's what his parampara, his family lineage was all about. And but Lochan Das, from the very, very, very young age, even as a child, he was extremely attracted to Krishna. And he would always be absorbed in devotional activities, to the point that, he would even, his mother would have to call him multiple times just to come for breakfast. So he was such an ardent devotee of Krishna, even as a child, as he was growing up. Fast forward, he was married at a very young age, and so his wife was also a child. And in those days, it was quite common, right? Many of us are familiar with that. Our great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers and grandfathers, they were married when they were hardly 10, 12, 13 years old. So he was living with his parents. She was living in a different village with her parents. And time, flew by till, that one day they grew old enough that they could actually live together. The problem was that Lochan Das was a complete renunciate, right? So he was only thinking about devotional activities all the time. And he had taken initiation from Narahari, Sarkar, Srila Narahari Sarkar, who was a very close associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was making his way to Puri in Srikhand. And so the spiritual master, Narahari Sarkar, liked Lochan Das so much that he even kept Lochan Das in his own house. So he grew up practically, his adult life. And at one point, the wife complained. She came to, Lochan Das's spiritual master and said, what's going on? I'm supposed to be married. We're supposed to be married. We're supposed to have a grihastha life. We're supposed to start a family. But here he is, he's in your ashram, and he's hardly thinking about getting into the grihastha stage. And he is. We've been married for so many years. And so Srila Narahari Sarkar said, hey, that's true. That's a good point. And so he told his disciple Lochan Das, please do something here. Go and find your wife and, start to settle down. So Lochan Das, as a good disciple, he went. He went to the village where his wife lived. The problem was he hadn't been there in so many years. He forgot the address. So he was busy looking for the house. I mean, we kid around, right? When some of our friends come home after a long time, and they're lost somewhere in the neighborhood, they're running around, driving around. I can name a few here. So what do we say? We say, hey, that's what happens when you don't come often enough. You forget the place, you forget the way to our home. So here it actually happened where Lochan Das was completely clueless. He was lost. He was asking people, where is this house? Where is this person? Where do they live? And after speaking to a few people, he came across one such person, and he asked her, he gave her the description of his wife. And he said, Mataji, would you know where this person was? And that person turned out to be his wife. Not a good situation for the wife. So Lochan Das refused to get into the Grihastha family life with her because he said, hey, I addressed her as Mataji. I addressed her as my mother. How can I possibly live with her in a relationship as a husband and wife? Poor thing. So that's how it was. He was a true renunciate. But apart from that, he was a great writer. In fact, he was from Bengal, and he was, he actually wrote some of the initial, the very original, very early poetry to the Mauric meter in Bengali. Now, don't ask me what the Mauric meter is, because I'm not going to get technical here. Maybe Amit Prabhu, you can explain what that meter is, because he's an accomplished musician there. But yeah, so he composed many poems in Bengali to that meter, very beautiful. And he also was one of the first historical writers in Bengali. Historical writers in Bengali. So he was a very good writer. So guess what? His spiritual master said, "Why don't you write the biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?" So off Lochan Das went. He was so happy. I mean, anything to get out of the Grihastha life, right? So he went. He would sit under this flower tree, according to the description that is given. And that's why I told you, keep an idea, don't forget the previous slide, right? Let me show that again here. He's sitting in that under that flower tree. Now, what does he have in front of him? A stone slab. Okay, that was his desk. Okay, so no Wi-Fi, no Zoom meetings, right? None of that. No Google at that point in time. No cross-referencing. So this was all, actual incidents and interactions between Lord Chaitanya and his mother, Lord Chaitanya and his wife, before Lord Chaitanya left on sannyas. And where did he get all this information from? Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta was another very close associate of Mahaprabhu. So he would sit there day after day after day after day, and he compiled the biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was called the Chaitanya Mangala. Now, there are other biographies that we are aware of. Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course, right? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote that. And similarly, the Chaitanya, there was Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is also a close associate of the family that was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he compiled a biography which was initially called Chaitanya Mangala as well. But then later it was renamed to Chaitanya Bhagavat. So now you have three biographies, right? You have the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you have the Chaitanya Bhagavat, and then you have the Chaitanya Mangala. Now, the Chaitanya Mangala is what? Very auspicious. So, the Chaitanya Mangala is meant to invoke that auspiciousness in our lives when we read about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And it is recommended for all of us. I mean, Chaitanya Charitamrita or any biography, not any, but the bona fide biographies written describing the life and the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are all auspicious, almost to a requirement. So one of these, he had also written, like I said, many, many songs. And so we have one that we picked a bhajan for today, this evening. And it'll be a short one. I'd like for all of you to join in. I have my sincere helper here. Rohan is going to be playing the mridanga. So please follow with me after I, just like we do in sequence. This is where the challenge begins. So bear with me if things don't work out the way we expected it. Parama karuna pahudui janani tai Gaura Chandra. Pahudui janani tai Gaura Chandra. Parama karuna pahudui jana Nitai Gaura Chandra. Sabavatara Avatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Savavatara Savavatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Savavatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Kevala Savavatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda Kevala Ananda Kanda Kevala Ananda Kanda You'll have to sing louder so that I can hear you. Otherwise, it's going to become a disaster for me because I need that feedback. But let me know if it is difficult. We can repeat it a few times. And I'm sure by the time we get to the end of this tune, this bhajan, you'll be singing like pros. So the translation is, the two lords, Nitai Gaurachandra, very merciful. They are the essence of all incarnations. The specific significance of these incarnations is that they introduce a process of chanting and dancing that is simply joyful. So, as it says here, Nitai and Gaurachandra, so it's Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are the most compassionate, most merciful personalities. And they are the essence of all the incarnations. They are the crest jewels, it is described, of all the avatars of Krishna. And, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asks his devotees to, give up this, give up that, give up sense gratification, give up worldly activities. There's a whole bunch of things that he tells us to give up. But when it comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the noteworthy feature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission was to distribute transcendental love for Krishna unconditionally. He did not discriminate. He did not say, hey, you're this, you're that, you're rich, you're poor, you're contaminated, you're pure. No, none of that. He just said anybody and everybody. He was there distributing love freely. And that's a very, very unique feature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And thereby, all he said was, okay, so no conditions. And he was giving love of Krishna to everybody. And his love was so genuine, so compassionate that anyone who came in touch with that was automatically, swimming in that. And talking about swimming, it was an ocean of compassion. The way it is described in our scriptures is that it was a rasa arnava. In other words, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's love that he distributed so compassionately was an ocean of compassion. So, like an ocean, it's vast and it's deep. And you don't know how deep. It's unfathomable. It's infinite. It's infinitely unfathomable. And unlike the oceans that we know, try taking a drop of ocean water, right? How does it taste? Salty. And it is so salty that even one drop, that's the end of it. You don't want any more of it. But the love, the transcendental love that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the rasa arnava we're talking about, is like even the smallest drop that you taste, one gets to taste, they get so attracted to Krishna that they want more and more and more and more and more. That's the beauty of, the way he spread that love. It was not just giving it in words, but he was actually demonstrating it. You could see there are several pastimes where Lord Chaitanya, out of extreme love for Krishna, the things that reminded him would even actually make him unconscious. I mean, it's mind-boggling to even think, how can Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, being who he is, he knows everything. And he's in complete control. He's the supreme controller. But does it really make sense when he looks at something that reminds him of his pastimes in Vrindavan, or the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan, and he goes unconscious? People have to revive him. They have to chant. They have to do things to bring him back to consciousness. So it's that Yogamaya potency that he allows himself to be controlled by for just that particular moment. And in those pastimes, he is able to actually get into that feeling of being a devotee. That's what he is trying to demonstrate to all of us and to teach us through his pastimes. That it's not just a superficial, superimposed, chore or a mechanical thing where we can just get attracted to Krishna through chanting or anything like that. It is chanting that is coming from the heart with an open heart. And when we do that, the way he absorbed himself, like for instance, they would have kirtans. We've heard of that in Srivasa's house. And those kirtans were not ordinary kirtans, right? I mean, they would start in the evening and go through the evening, through the night, into the early hours of the next morning. And this would go on for like days. And they wouldn't be thinking about food or sleep or being tired. And they would be dancing and fresh, like they just started. And that's how, he was completely absorbed. So all that he said was, we need to be able to chant and chant from the heart. And he said that in itself will take us a long ways towards getting us closer to Krishna. And just like the waves in the ocean, there are waves even in the Rasa Arnava, the ocean of compassion. And that's basically the waves dancing in the transcendental love of Krishna. I mean, it's such a beautiful thought. If you try and visualize it, it's not like the waves that you see in the ocean. Yeah, there were waves in the ocean, but some of those waves are so horrifying that you don't want to be there. You're going to get completely engulfed. You're going to drown in those waves. Some of those waves are so high. But in this case, the transcendental love of Krishna is what you experience. So the waves are dancing. The description is given that this Rasa Arnava is the waves dancing in the transcendental love for Krishna. So one has to jump deeper into this ocean, unlike the other ocean that we know. Don't try jumping into the ocean, but this ocean, certainly, yes. It makes a big difference because the deeper we get, the more we get the taste for Krishna. And the more we get the taste for Krishna, the closer we get to Krishna. And again, that is something we don't want to inculcate superficially. It has to be done right from the heart. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. Bhajo, bhajo, bhai, Chaitanya Nitai, Sudrida Vishwasa Kori. Bhajo, bhajo, bhai, Chaitanya Nitai. Vishaya Chariya, Vishaya Chariya, Sera se majiya, Mukhe bolo Hari Hari. Vishaya Chariya, Vishaya Chariya, Virase Majiya, mukhe bolo Hari Hari. Chariya Vishaya Chariya Sera se majiya mukhe bolo Hari Hari. 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 He says, my dear brother, I request you to just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. If one wants to be Krishna conscious by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. One simply has to chant Hare Krishna, Hari Hari without any motive. Right? So even in the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami says Anya Bhilashita Shunya, right? That's a very famous and mostly, very popularly quoted verse. And that's basically about being able to nurture, our devotion so that it's a culture of, we're doing it without any motivation, any personal motivation, meaning a personal desire or an ulterior motive. So, giving our hearts out to Krishna without expecting anything in return from Krishna. As an example, just think about it. You don't have to answer. I'm not going to pick on any of us here. But how many times do we stand in front of the deities and actually, asking the deities for something or the other, whether it is something to do with health, something to do with our exams, or something to do with our well-being, something. We're always asking for things, right? In a sense, we're saying, Krishna, please be that, that vending machine. I'm going to put something in the hundi, but please make sure that you listen to me and you make it happen. I need to buy this new car, or I need to buy this or get that or accomplish this or accomplish that. So that is the transactional mentality, the mindset that we have with the deities. What Lochandas is saying here, and he's saying, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is demonstrating is this selfless love for the deities, right? Selfless love for Krishna. And when we can open our hearts and be able to ask for, being able to transcend this material platform. And that way, we're able to open our hearts the way we should so that we can allow Krishna's love to come in. And when that happens, and that interaction is a very powerful interaction, because when that is an experience, for us, maybe in our early stages, it's only a flash. But even that flash, some of us have gone through that where, you can feel that and you feel like, oh, if I could only hold on to that mellow, right? That particular moment. And what to speak of these exalted personalities who are completely saturated in that mood. They're able to open their hearts. They're completely, opening their hearts to Krishna, and they're just letting all of that reciprocation happen, that interchange, that exchange happen of love with Krishna. All right. Rohan. Dekho re bhai tribhuvane naay mona doyal data. Dekho re bhai tribhuvane naay mona doyal data. Dekho re bhai Tribhuvane naay mona doyal data. पशु पक्षी झूरे पशु पक्षी झूरे पाषाण विदारे सुनी जरा गुण गाता पशु पक्षी झूरे सुनी जरा गुण गाता सुनी जरा गुण गाता He says, my dear brother, just try and examine. Gosh, my glasses. What is it? Examine this. Yeah, sorry. Just try and examine this. Within the three worlds, there is no one like Lord Chaitanya or Lord Nityananda. Their merciful qualities are so great, and upon hearing them, even birds and beasts cry and stones melt. I know we're running out of time here, but just want to quickly say, Lochana Das is saying, what to speak of us ordinary human beings? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to attract and get even the beasts of the forest to dance in ecstasy. Okay, we're talking about beasts, not just little butterflies or, harmless rabbits or something like that, and squirrels. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was making his way through the Jharkhand forest towards Puri, he was chanting the names loudly, and he was doing it in such a melodious way that even the animals, the beasts, were all dancing there. There were tigers, there were lions, there were snakes, there were very fearful beasts. There's a quick point in time where some of you may even remember when we were there for the Mayapur Yatra with His Holiness Prabhupada Swami. One of the locations close to Vrindavan Das Thakur's home, where it was in an intense foresty area, was this Babaji who lived in one small hut with his family, with his wife and his children and grandchildren. And it was very dense, and so we didn't have any space to sit inside. But he was so excited to see all of us. He completely opened the doors, and we flooded the place. So we were practically. So it ended up that Guru Maharaj was sitting inside or at the door on the threshold, and we were sitting on the outside under this tree. And then Maharaj was talking about all the various pastimes and about this Babaji. And this Babaji, was so thrilled. He was so excited to see us. He turned around, told his wife, "Make rasgullas for all of them." This was a very short notice. Matajis, you can relate to that. So, and we were excited, right? So that was happening. And in the meanwhile, Maharaj was talking about how this Babaji would actually feed milk to this very poisonous snake every day. And one night, in his sleep, he would sleep in the veranda, on the floor, and he happened to, see that rope, he thought. So he just casually picked it up in his sleep, and he just, put it outside the door. Turned out to be the actual snake itself. It was a king cobra. And guess what? That cobra lived in that tree where we were sitting under. So you can imagine our reaction. We were sitting on pins half the time looking up to see when that snake was going to be coming down. But I'll tell you what, it ended well. We had some of the best rasgullas ever that we had in a place that we would never even imagine. Okay, so I know we have one more verse, but this is the last verse. Let's just quickly go through it. Samsare majiya rohili poriya sepade nahilo asha. Samsare majiya rohili poriya sepade nahilo asha. Apana karamo अपन करम भुंजाए शमन कहो लोचन दास. kaho ye lochana das, kaho ye lochana das. So here, Lochanadas is saying he regrets. He says, Lochanadas regrets that I'm entrapped by sense gratification. Since I have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, then Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement. So this is Lochanadas who's saying this. Can you imagine this? I mean, in all his humility, he's saying this. What to speak? Someone like us, we're so far away from that, and we're aspiring to be in that situation where we can actually open our hearts and have these transcendental exchanges with the Lord. So what I would say is, it is important for us as a takeaway. I know we've run out of time. Mataji is waiting. Next, she'll be bringing that stick out. But basically, we're going to say one thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been indiscriminately giving us that love of God. We just have to open our hearts. We just need to remember that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always there. Krishna is always there. And his heart is always waiting to give us that love. So we need to be able to have that exchange. So anytime we are in trouble is not the only time, but more so when we think that we are the only ones that can, deal with these situations. Remember Krishna. Remember Krishna because that is our true shelter. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. And that's what Lochanadas is also super and reinforcing here in his, song here. This is another beautiful one that is from Prabhupada. I'll let you read it. But other than that, thank you very much. I know we don't have time for questions. We're 6 minutes over. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah. No. You're right. What Prabhu was referring to is the person who created the sculpture for, Srila Prabhupada. He's Lochanadas, a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So that's what he's talking about. Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Please give a big hand. Today's Sunday feast is cooked by Kiran Mataji, Deepu Mataji, Tejas Prabhu and his daughter Arna. Cleaning by Srikant Prabhu, Gadadhar Chandra Prabhu, Raj Prabhu, Sandeep Prabhu, Venkat Prabhu, and serving by Sharavan Prabhu and Neha Mataji. So like as in the previous weeks, I'm again announcing that we have two different sponsorships during Sunday Feast. One of it is Sunday Feast program, which is actually prayers offered to their lordship throughout the whole day. There are two families who have sponsored that. One is Venu and Shriya Madhuri on the occasion of the birthday of Shriya Gayatri, whose Gotra is Pabala. Are they here? Are they here today? They came in the afternoon. And I think they really appreciated being here, and it's a whole day worship program they had sponsored. Another family who sponsored is Krishna Bensal and Meghna Bensal. They are very dear to us, known to us for a very long time. Today they are sponsoring on the occasion, requesting devotees' blessings. Are they here, the Bensal family? They're not here either. Then we have the Sunday Feast sponsorships. There are 5 families sponsoring. One is by Dev Iyer on the occasion of his daughter Shubha Sri's, I think she's having a surgery. And so she has asked for prayers for her. And Dev Iyer has been regularly sponsoring for many years actually. And is he here, his family? He will be coming. Then Deepika Sunil, on the occasion of the wedding anniversary. Deepika Sunil, are they here? Okay. Sumitra Banerjee, on the occasion of showing gratitude to devotees. She is very grateful to the devotees. Sumitra? Are they here? Please, yeah, Sushmita. Yeah, please, can you please give? Thank you, Sushmita. We have known her for a very long time too. Very happy to see you back again. Hare Krishna. How many years ago you had come here? How many years ago you have been coming here? Like about?
Since 2002.
Since 2002. So myself and Nirandara Prabhu, we are sponsoring Sunday feast to distribute prasadam to all the devotees who are assembled here to celebrate the second birthday of Veera Krishna. And he just turned 2 years on March 2nd. We are celebrating his birthday, plus we are seeking your prayers to their lordships for his continued growth and be Krishna conscious. Yeah, happy birthday. March 3rd, yeah. Amit Thakur is seeking devotees' blessings. Amit Thakur? Here? No? Okay. So on all these occasions, when we are sponsoring, what do? We offer prayers to Krishna on behalf of the families, and we chant the holy names of Krishna and pray for their spiritual well-being. So please chant after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So one more thing is that anyone else who would like to sponsor next Sunday or the coming Sundays, please contact Abhay Prabhu, who was standing over there. Please contact him, or Shyam Prabhu is over there. I think Ramdas is somewhere too, over there. So every week we make it a point to express our appreciation for at least one devotee who is serving here in this temple. And it is because of the devotees who serve here we are able to function. And today we are appreciating Rutul Prabhu. And Rutul Prabhu has been practicing Krishna consciousness since 2017. Is he here? Rutul, can you please come? Rutul has been known to us for a very long time. He has been practicing Krishna consciousness since 2017. He is part of Pradibahu's Bhakti Vriksha, right? Pradibahu Prabhu's Bhakti Vriksha. In the beginning, he used to be always engaged in the cleaning service. Even now he's doing, but by profession, he is an accountant. And as we are growing, we are moving from QuickBook to another system called Applause, which is a accounting as well as donor management system. And it is a big job to transition all our data from QuickBook to Applause. And Rutul has been working very diligently on it so that we all can get whatever report we need to get on time. And I have been fortunate enough to work with him, and I know how much of an effort is required to do this. And we wanted to maintain, our accounting in very good shape. And we want to maintain transparency to the entire community. To do that, this will be very helpful. Plus, all of you are donors in this temple. And we always wanted to remember and appreciate every effort you put into helping to support this temple, helping us to build this temple. Without you, there is no temple. And the temple is also meant for you. And so this, what service Rutul is doing, is very helpful for us to remember and recognize our congregation members here who are fully our supporters. He also has completed the Bhakti Shastri studies, which is a systematic study of 5 of Srila Prabhupada's books. And that tells about his devotion and commitment. And we are very, very fortunate to have him with us. And thank you so much, Virutal Prabhu. And it is devotees like him, devotees like you who make this temple. And we are grateful for all your support, all your help. We deeply appreciate that. So, as you know, time is coming near for the opening of the new temple. It is the end of April, Akshaya Tritiya weekend. We will be opening this temple. And as you can imagine that it is a occasion of great happiness as we are inviting their lordships on their altar and establishing standardized worship protocols. We are going to have Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha Shyamasundar. And, it will be a very wonderful occasion. And you can, I think I was just talking with somebody, they were asking why it doesn't look like the picture. And so I'm just saying we went through various phases. First phase, 2019, we completed the civil engineering work, which costed about $1 million. And that is there in that first poster. The second part is this building here. And, about a $6 million project this is. And after that is done, we still have to demolish this building, reconstruct it, and integrate it to the back. That is all left for all of you to do. And and then the embellishments which comes on the top, which is already all planned, everything is ready, but we need the money to finish that. So this is just like, how Ramanujacharya built Srirangam temple. And he had a whole bunch of thieves who helped him in getting the money. But, it's not an easy project. It's not like, but Krishna is facilitating it. And therefore, we have this temple here. And we are here to serve all of you. Just wanted all of you to know. And I'm seeing Shyam there. And I saw Sumangala here. And they are fundraising team. And so she's the chairman of the fundraising department, and I just give the mic to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming here and joining. Some exciting things today. Just as Mataji said, we are gearing. Now we can start countdown, right, Shyam Prabhuji? Now we can say, 50 days, 49 days, countdown is started. When I'm saying countdown, there is another aspect to that. That countdown for us also. The reason is, I'll give an example. I had a desire to sponsor a DT dress for the inauguration. That was my desire. And I thought, okay, I am part of fundraising. I will come to know and I'll sponsor. Trust me, the DT dresses came. They all reserved. They're all gone. And I lost opportunity. I was surprised. It was announced to everybody. I didn't see it. So, and then again I prayed, how did I miss, And then wonderfully I got that opportunity. Again, luckily, I should say luckily. That same works applies for all the sponsorships. And I'll tell you today, one of the sponsorship is also gone. And that is Shena Adivasa Seva. There is only one sponsorship. And I don't know if Sandhya Mataji is here. Sandhya Mataji sponsored that. And that Shena Adivasa Seva, only one spot was there and that opportunity is gone, okay? And there were a lot of people competing for that, but she got it first, so she took it. So the reason I'm saying is, don't think, okay, till March 22nd or April 22nd time is there. Before even you realize the sponsorships will go away. And so take this opportunity. I'm giving my own example, okay? So it was really nice that Sandhya Mataji, if you all could encourage Sandhya Mataji for sponsoring that one special one. And through Sham Prabhu's contacts from outside congregation, we have one first Aarti sponsorship. His name is Shushil Kumar. And then Sangeeta Mataji reached out to her own friends and she got Neeru Agarwal for all days Boga sponsorship. And Sandeep Patel Prabhu. Thank you, Sangeeta Mataji. Thank you, Sham Prabhu. Sandeep Patel Prabhu reached out to his contacts. We don't have the names, but it was around $5,500 in different sponsorships, Abhishek, Prana Pratishta Seva, and Raj Bhoga. So, yes, please, for Sandeep Patel Prabhu. So, this tells us two things. One is, these opportunities are, that numbers are opportunities. It's not just for only congregation. Before even realize that numbers will go away. So, please, two things. One is, first, self-care. When we go to the airplane, they say, right, first you put your own, mask, first, and then oxygen mask, and then give it to others. So first, sponsor for yourself. Please see me, Sangeeta Mataji, Sham Prabhu, or Sarvanand Prabhu, any of us. Please think about it before the sponsorships ran away or gone. So please take that. And next is, just like Sangeeta Mataji or Sham Prabhu or Sandeep Patel Prabhu, make a list. Okay, here are my neighbors, here is my people. Just one, it takes few minutes. Just do your duty, just share this. Okay, here is the inauguration flyer, 22nd, please join. If you are interested, please do this sponsorship. It doesn't need to be 5,000 or it doesn't need to be 15,000. We have sponsorship all the way from $108 till 15,000. So it is an opportunity. It's not just Sangeeta Mataji or Sham Prabhu. It is all of our temple and all of us need to take part. And sharing this opportunity is not that we should take this, you are giving this opportunity to them because it's a lifetime event. It is our duty to share this opportunity, give this opportunity for them. So please do share. We have the flyers and there is a registration link at the down QR code. So please, first oxygen mask, first you do it yourself and then share it with others. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sumala Mataji. So without taking much time, we are already late. Just wanted to, also thank to R. Krishna Bansalji and Meghna Bansalji. They have been very, very kind. Always, Meghna, can you come here? Very known face. You may have seen her always, right? And Krishnaji was our chairman of our advisory committee, and through that, this entire initial phase of construction started. And today, they also sponsored today's entire Sunday program. And very, very kind, always willing to go extra miles. You want to say a couple of words?
Hare Krishna. My name is Meghna Bansal, and I'm very, very excited about the inauguration and extension of our ISKCON temple. I come from Vrindavan land, so I truly understand. I have been to several times Vrindavan and Agra side, Mathura and everyone, so I'm very fond of ISKCON temple and Radhe Krishna. So thank you, Shyam Kumarji, and congratulations everyone, Sangeeta ji, Mataji, and everyone for new inauguration and extension of ISKCON temple. Thank you. Yeah, of course, I'm coming. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, thank you so much again, Prem.
I announced it before you came. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your being here. Thank you. I was just telling everyone that we know your family for a very, very long time and so happy to see her here. Oh, picture. Okay.
So with that, I think these are
Came alone? Kids didn't come?
No, I came from different house.
very busy.